Good morning, happy morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished speakers. A warm greeting to you, Vice Minister of Forestry, Bapak Rohmat Marzuki. We're incredibly honored to have you here in this first morning session. And of course, welcome to everybody. Today is the second day in COP30. Yesterday was a big day. I hope you all had a good rest and ready for this morning session. When you're ready, please put a thumb up or two. All good? Okay. I'll start with the context. It's mangrove. We know the title of the discussion is Showcasing Global Efforts on Mangrove Rehabilitation and Conservation. So, to set the tone for today's discussion, allow me to kindly invite our Vice Minister, who's going to deliver his opening remarks. With that, I kindly welcome. Please put our hands together for our Vice Minister, Bapak Rohmat Marzuki.
Test. Check. 1, 2, 3, check. Check. Excellencies, Ambassador, esteemed speakers, good morning everyone. Distinguished participants in attendance, both present in this room and online. Bom dia, selamat pagi, good morning. Welcome to the Pavilion of Indonesia. Let me start by commending Brazil and UNFCCC for organizing COP30 this year, which provides us with opportunities to share understanding that mangrove ecosystems are among our most vital defenses against the climate crisis. It is truly an honor for me to address you all today at this special event showcasing global efforts in mangrove rehabilitation and conservation, and to share Indonesia's leadership journey in protecting coastlines, storing massive amounts of carbon, and sustaining the livelihoods of millions of people who depend on mangrove ecosystems. Today, Indonesia proudly invites the global community to collaborate through the World Mangrove Center, a global hub for sharing, learning, and advancing best practices in sustainable mangrove management. Excellencies and distinguished participants, mangroves are not just ecosystems. They are a living shield, a source of life, and a symbol of our commitment to a sustainable future. As the country with the largest mangrove forest area in the world, covering about 23% of global total, Indonesia bears both a great responsibility and a great honor to be at the forefront of mangrove conservation and rehabilitation efforts. Indonesia has 3.44 million hectares of mangroves, which is almost 80% of forested area. Therefore, Indonesia is trying to lead by example in rehabilitation and protecting mangrove ecosystems. Our leadership is not just symbolic. It is operational, scientific, policy-driven, and community-based. Indonesia leadership modalities include 1. Strong national commitment, integration of mangrove rehabilitation into the National Volunetzing 2030 agenda and our updates and disease. 2. Integrated institutional framework the Ministry of Forestry coordinates with government agencies, local government, and research institutions under the whole of nation approach. 3. Community empowerment. Local communities and traditional knowledge serve as a foundation of our restoration model, particularly through to social forestry scheme. 4. Science and technology leadership. Establishment of the World Mangrove Center as a collaborative platform for data, policy, and innovation. 5. International partnerships. Cooperation through UNEA, UNFCCC, CBD, and various South-South collaboration to align mangrove action globally. At UNEA 4 in Nairobi, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka, co-initiated the Declaration of Sustainable Management for the Global Health of Mangroves, marking a milestone in global mangrove cooperation. The World Mangrove Center builds upon that declaration to collect and share information, strengthen policies, improve research and education, and elevate mangrove conservation to global agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, our presence here at the Indonesia Pavilion at COP30 Belém is a concrete demonstration of Indonesia's leadership in combating climate change through action, innovation, and collaboration. The Indonesia Pavilion is not just an exhibition space. It is a statement of leaders. Through it, we promote Indonesia's transformative pathways to achieve full net sink 2030, accelerated blue carbon action, and empower coastal communities to build resilience. In this pavilion, Indonesia amplifies its voice, not only as a nation of vast biodiversity, but as a leader in climate solution, bridging science, policy, and people. Excellencies and distinguished delegates, the World Mangrove Center, WMC, is envisioned as more than a data repository or meeting venue. It will become an international center of gravity for mangrove policy, finance, and science, where global standards are set, best practices scaled, and genuine collaboration realized. Our vision for the WMC is to be a global information hub on mangrove conservation and management, a learning facility for practitioners, academics, and policymakers, a collaborative platform for uniting stakeholders in promoting mangrove-based climate adaptation, mitigation, food security, and community well-being. Through the WMC, Indonesia will lead with integrity, inclusivity, and innovation, ensuring that no nation is left behind in the global effort to restore our mangroves and our planet. Excellencies and distinguished delegates, to conclude my remarks, please allow me to reiterate that Indonesia leadership in mangrove restoration is a leadership of service for nature, for humanity, and for our shared climate future. Through the World Mangrove Center and our role at COP30, Indonesia stands ready to lead, to connect, and to inspire. Together, let us turn the tide of degradation into a wave of restoration and make the mangrove a global symbol of hope and unity in the fight against climate change. Thank you. Obrigado.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Minister. Please remain on the stage, Pa. We kindly invite you back on the stage. We do anticipate that you may need to leave early due to another forum or another important meeting. So we would like to move forward the photo session before the discussion. So with that, I invite all the speakers to please come forward to the stage. We're going to have a group photo session first. I have to squeeze in to make sure we have a female in the picture. Thank you, thank you. For all the speakers, please remain on stage. You may have a seat. We're going to have the discussion straight away, please. Oh, just according to the picture or wherever you place. You want to sit next to me? Yes, of course. Yeah, this been taken. I miss Patito. And another one, she's going to join online if possible. Okay, if I may requote the last sentence that just been said by the Vice Minister of Forestry, turn the tide of degradation into a wave of restoration. So it's such a powerful statement. It's highlight restoring this incredible, this remarkable ecosystem is very, very crucial for protecting the environment as well as to improve people's lives. So I'll start with a short context around the mangrove. So since the Paris Agreement ratification in 2015 or 10 years ago, as well as the G20 Indonesia Presidency 2022, mangrove rehabilitation is being Indonesia's flagship program. Indonesia put significant effort into mangroves conservation and rehabilitation and is currently preparing readiness for mangroves carbon assessment for the carbon trading. So just like the statement also made by the Honorable Vice Minister, Indonesia initiates the World Mangrove Center as a platform to share its extensive experience in mangrove restoration and conservation, rehabilitation and conservation, while also fostering global collaboration to manage the world's mangrove ecosystem. So from today's speakers, we're going to find out the development of this center, the World Mangrove Center, and how can we all collaborate to support a healthy mangrove ecosystem. I'll take the liberty. I'll introduce one by one, or you cannot see, it's too small. Okay. The far left, he is the Director of Mangrove Rehabilitation from the Directorate General of Watershed Management and Forest Rehabilitation, Ministry of Forestry, Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Ristianto Pribadi. Please put our hands together for him. And next to him, he is Noriaki Sakaguchi, Senior Advisor from JICA, Japan. Ohayo, Sakaguchi-san. And then we have Bapak Taswin Munir, Environmental Policy Officer from Global Green Growth Institute, GGGI. Last but not least, we have Mr. Lil Randeni, Director of Climate Change from the Ministry of Environment, Sri Lanka. I'll take the liberty to perhaps ask the first question or the opportunity for Patito to present. It actually feels a bit awkward or weird because in the past, usually we will see him very, very busy running around the pavilion because he used to be the lead coordinator for the pavilion. But now he is sitting here as a source person. Please, Patito.
Okay. Thank you, Mbak Desmona. Yes, a very good morning, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen. So my name is, as mentioned before, my name is Ristianto Pribadi, but everyone usually call me just Tito. As mentioned by Mbak Desmona, I used to be like the coordinator for the Indonesia Pavilion, just running around here, but I'm very happy today to become as the resource person, to become the speakers here. So today, on my very short presentation, we will journey into a world that breathes quietly between the land and sea, a world where roots meet the tides, and where our very branch shelters life. And then this is the world of Indonesia mangrove. Next slide, please. Okay. Mangrove forests are not just trees growing in the tidal zone. They are natural fortresses protecting our coast, nurseries for thousands of species, and one of the planet's most efficient carbon sinks. They provide food, support fisheries, filter water, and protect coastal communities from storms and erosions. In short, mangroves are the living heart of Indonesia's coastal ecosystems. Mangroves do what no concrete structure can. They reduce wave impact, prevent erosion, and store carbon more efficiently than tropical rainforests, by 3 to 5 times larger. They are home to more than 200 species of flora and thousands of fauna, from small mollusks and migratory birds to one of Indonesia's most iconic creatures, the bekantan, or we call it proboscis monkey, found only on the island of Kalimantan. So ladies and gentlemen, you should visit Kalimantan to see bekantan alive there. The presence of bekantan is not just a symbol of biodiversity, it is a sign that our mangrove ecosystems are healthy, balanced, and alive. So in a couple of minutes, we are going to see the video about the living heart of flora, of fauna, of Indonesia mangrove. Will take us deep into this living ecosystem. It begins with the whisper of the sea breeze and the scent of salt in the air, reminding us that the mangrove forest is both humble and powerful. Through breathtaking aerial shots and intimate wildlife scenes, the short movies will show how mangroves serve as a home, as sanctuary, and also as a teacher. The short film is not just about the beauty, it's about the responsibility of our shared duty to protect these ecosystems that in turn protect us. Mangrove remind us that every living being has a role in maintaining the balance of the earth. They embody of the spirit of nature-based solutions, restoring ecosystems not through dominations, but through harmony with the natural process. In this spirit, Indonesia has taken a bold step to lead global collaboration by establishing the World Mangrove Center, launched in 2022. The WMC, launched under the leadership of the Government of Indonesia, serves as an international information hub, a data and knowledge center, and a global learning platform for mangrove conservation and sustainable development. Through this initiative, Indonesia aims to strengthen global cooperations, facilitate scientific exchange, and accelerate innovation in protecting and restoring mangroves worldwide. Our leadership commitment is clear: to make Indonesia not only the world's largest home of mangroves, but also the global centers of excellence for mangrove knowledge, policy, and action. This is our contribution to the global climate change agenda, to the Blue Carbon Initiative, and to a sustainable future where nature and people thrive together. Through the World Mangrove Center, Indonesia opens its doors to all partners, governments, researchers, development institutions, and communities to share knowledge, co-develop solutions, and scale up restoration efforts worldwide. Because protecting mangrove is not just Indonesia's mission, it is a global responsibility, a legacy that we must build together. Before we begin the film, allow me to express Indonesia's deep appreciation for our international partners who have walked this journey with us. The World Bank, the JICA, and the Global Green Growth Institute have been invaluable in supporting innovative financing, technical knowledge, and policy development that empower local communities and strengthen national capacity for mangrove restoration. And last but not least, as also mentioned by the Excellencies, by Vice Ministers, we also would like to extend our warmest respect and friendship to the Government of Sri Lanka, as at the UNEA 4 in Nairobi, Indonesia and Sri Lanka jointly initiated the Declaration on Sustainable Management for the Global Health of Mangroves, a landmark commitment that United Nations under a single vision to protect, restore, and sustainably manage mangrove ecosystem for the health of our planet. That declaration was not only a statement of intent, it was a call to action. And today, the World Mangrove Centers Indonesia stands ready to translate that call into tangible, measurable, and lasting change through science, collaboration, and shared partnerships. Because together, with the support of partners like World Bank, JICA, GGGI, Government of Sri Lanka, and the global community, we can make mangrove restoration not just a national success story, but a global movement for nature and humanity. So now let us witness the resilience, the beauty, and the wisdom of nature that lives among the roots and the tides. Thank you, and please enjoy the video.
Mangroves are more than just rows of trees growing in tidal areas. These roots, rising from a water, hold life within, a home to thousands of creatures, all depending on one another. Ecologically, mangroves play a strategic role in the global ecosystem, serving as a natural buffer for coastlines. Their presence helps reduce the impact of waves, prevent erosion, and stabilize sediment. According to data from Global Mangrove Watch in 2022, the world's mangrove forests were estimated to cover around 137,000 square kilometers, with Indonesia contributing about 23% of that total, equivalent to 3.44 million hectares. This positions Indonesia as a global leader in blue carbon initiatives, an effort to reduce emissions and protect coastal ecosystems that play a vital role in the world's climate. Indonesia's mangrove forests are spread across almost all coastal provinces, with the highest concentrations found in Papua, Kalimantan, Sumatra, and Sulawesi. This ecosystem is home to a rich and diverse range of life, with more than 200 species of flora and thousands of fauna that thrive within it. From small fish and mollusks to migratory birds that journey across the seas, and most remarkably, an endemic primate that stands as a symbol of nature's balance. Bekantan, the long-nosed primate found only on the island of Kalimantan. Its presence reflects the health and vitality of Indonesia's mangrove forests. So when mangroves flourish, all life flourishes alongside.
Dengan adanya kawasan ini mampu menyediakan pakan, terutama pakan bagi bekantan, sehingga bekantan yang ada di sini dapat tumbuh dan biak dengan baik.
amid roots and waters, mangroves remind us that every living being has a role in keeping the earth in balance. Protecting the mangroves means protecting life itself.
Thank you, Patito, for the brief yet thought-provoking presentation and incredible video. But before I ask him a question, I want to ask the audience, anyone have ever seen Bekantan in person? Just a few, perhaps one or two, right? So we need to work on the mangrove conservation in order to see more Bekantan. And like Pak Tito said, there is a place, a region, an area in Indonesia where you can see Bekantan, and it's in Kalimantan. So we invite you all to come and visit. So Pak Tito, by the way, in case for some of the participants who just joined and you missed some of the presentation made by Pak Tito, in summary, basically, effective mangrove conservation requires collaborative efforts spanning governmental bodies, financial institutions, and international partners. Financial and technical capacity building at different administrative levels also equally important. Okay, so my question is, Patito, Indonesia has an extensive experience in mangrove restorations. In your perspective, what is the single most crucial or vital, important lesson that you think to share is very, very crucial to share with the world through this platform?
Thank you for the questions. Yeah, it's very tough questions. Yeah. So, Desmona, ladies and gentlemen, I've been appointed as the director of mangrove rehabilitation within the last 10 months. So I'm still intern as the director of mangrove rehabilitation. But if I was asked what is the most things that need to be shared to the audience here, that well, I can call that mangrove rehabilitation is a very complex program, very complex activity. Not only in terms of the specific technique of restoration, yeah, adaptive management, but also we need to talk about the social aspect of the local community there. Yeah, it's a very complex. So, but unfortunately, at the moment, I think not only faced by Indonesia, but also in all over the countries. When we talk about the rigid of budgeting, yeah, the rigidness of budgeting, particularly the budget from the government, I think in all over the world. So therefore, the government budget for restoring the mangrove ecosystem is not suitable. We need a budget that will become more flexible. Yeah. Therefore, the budget can come from the international corporation or the private sector investment. Because why budget flexibility is very matter? Because nature does not follow fiscal calendars. That's the most important thing. Planting seasons shift with monsoons and tides. Extreme weather demands a quick response. This is very difficult for us, and then I think for all people in the world. Therefore, again, budget flexibility is very important. Therefore, we are requesting, we are inviting investment from the private sectors, not only from Indonesia, but also from the international community to be part of the global movement for the mangrove restoration. Terima kasih.
Check. Thank you, Patito. So budgeting, aside from the complexity in restoring the mangrove itself, budgeting becomes the challenge, right? And with that, I would like to ask your counterparts, which is Mr. Lil sitting next to me. You agree with Patito, budgeting is the sort of a barrier for everyone, for the stakeholders to work in restoring, in rehabilitating, conserving this mangrove plantation. Before, Patito also mentioned in his presentation about the joint partnership at UNEA, and Sri Lanka is of course a party in that joint declaration, which outlines sustainable management for mangrove. So, how to accelerate the implementation on sustainable mangrove management, and perhaps some other challenges aside from the budget. Please, Mr. Lil.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for inviting us for Sri Lankan government. It's a pleasure and it is an honor to us. Deputy, not the Minister of the Ministry of Environment, Forestry in Indonesia, and all other delegates here. Thank you. Yes, really, budgeting, that is very much important. What happened is that we also have a significant extent of mangroves in strategic locations in Sri Lanka. And at the same time, you know, I have seen that in the presentation from him, it is a protective buttress of the sea water, so the sea action, so we can protect our land mass. So likewise, we have a lot of benefits are there. So I mean, that's why we have this resolution, UNIA resolution, UNIA 4 resolution, and we got the support from our counterpart from Indonesia and other counterparts, those who are like-minded nations that identified well the importance of mangrove conservation, and the Mangrove Conservation Center also. So the regional cooperation, catalyzation, networking, so that type of initiatives are needed. You understand that we might think that our national mangroves are important for us. Likewise, all countries think of that. So then there is a synergy if we have that type of a partnerships, so we can have our more amplified action, conservation action, sustainable development action on mangroves is more synergistic and amplified action, so that will yield more results for mangrove conservation and for the people who are sharing the benefits of this conservation. So for our country, you see, our country example is that lot of mangrove lands were converted, not the recent past, because we have our government, successive governments has made different initiatives to conserve. So most of the shrimp farms and all those unplanned developments, so the mangrove lands were cleared in the, not in the recent past, in the far back in the past. But we have, with this initiative, we have conserved now, you know, our forest department, Department of Wildlife Conservation, we have restored some of the lands. Now you see, let me tell you the extent. Around more than 20,000 hectares of lands were conserved, restored, and recently we have planned to restore about additionally 825 hectares under the Forest Conservation Department, and under 52 hectares under the Department of Wildlife Conservation. As you have asked me about this budgetary flexibility, you know, now what we are advocated by the Paris Agreement and the UNFCCC is to mobilize maximum possible different financial sources, so that private finance, philanthropic finance, some other initiatives, cooperative social responsibility, I mean sharing these budgetary requirements with other sources also, rather than having concern only on the public budgets. So we have included those things in our resolution. That is the flagship initiative in that area. So we think that to continue our relationship with the brotherhood, so that we can conserve this unique, important, valuable, ecological importance habitats for the betterments of the future. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. It's wonderful to see that you get the access to all kind of sources in terms of finance. Now, I would like to ask from your perspective as a partner country working on mangrove, how the World Mangrove Center can practically assist for the implementation of global commitments like the UNIA resolution on mangrove.
Thank you. Very practical question. We are sharing our experiences. Indonesia has large extent of mangroves conserved and the restoring areas also. Recently, our delegation, about more than 20 delegates from Sri Lanka, headed by our additional secretary, visited Indonesia. They explained what they have learned. Lot of nice experiences are there. Some of the slides were there. You are preparing the trenches so that once the mangrove propagule goes and once it's because mangroves are there in a unique interface of where the marine water, the salt water interfaces with the fresh water. So there were some bad experiences in our country. We try to restore mangrove lands. We identify this area is the original habitat of mangroves. So we are going to plant mangroves like we are identifying this as a terrestrial area. But that is not the case. We have to identify. So our delegates who visited for sharing experience in Indonesia, they told me that you have innovative techniques of identifying the real restoration areas. So likewise, we share the experience. So that might support very much to the UNIA resolution. UNIA resolution is a document of living document so that it opens up the new paths. That means the experience sharing and the means of implementation sharing. And likewise, lot of different partnerships, catalyzation, what we are not known to at this moment, that our relationship is open that. And Sri Lanka also, lot of different restoration initiatives that will open up new dimension and a lot of new experiences, and so more toward the sustainability that we have identified in our resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's cross-learning between two countries or two partners in terms of knowledge and technical building, right? Any specific support, aside from what you've already mentioned, that you expect from WMC to aid the mangrove management at the national level? Since Patito is here, you probably can say anything you like.
Yes, the capacity building and means of implementation. Climate finance is, what our country national status is that we are not very much eager on this finance. Well, we think that we can go for carbon trading, whatever it is, more sensitive things. Nowadays, we are preparing for our carbon trading policy and the framework. But before that, we are thinking of traditional sharing of our benefits, traditional capacity building, technology transfer, a lot of things that we have exposed likewise, so that that is what we are expecting from the World Mangrove Center that is being figure-headed by the Indonesian government. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's what the partnership is for, yeah? Sharing knowledge as well as transfer technology and the capacity building to work together to improve this ecosystem. With that, since we talk about joint partnership, I will move to JICA, Sakaguchi-san. Japan has a long history, of course, of cooperation on this mangrove conservation in Indonesia. Do you want to have your presentation first, or you allow me? Okay, please.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Selamat pagi. So let me introduce about our cooperation on mangrove and mangrove information center, and also especially the functioning the MRC as a WMC World Mangrove Center for knowledge sharing and capacity building for sustainable mangrove management. Next slide, please. Yes. We have a long history for mangrove cooperation with Indonesia since 1992. We first also rehabilitated 256 hectares of the degraded mangrove as a shrimp pond, fishery ponds in Bali, and now become the good mangrove forest after 30 years. You can see. And so we also support to establish Mangrove Information Center in 2003. This is the Mangrove Center. And for the knowledge sharing on mangrove sustainable management in Indonesia. And also 2011, we support the ASEAN member states for knowledge sharing on the good practice. And we support also development of the ASEAN Mangrove Network. Next slide, please. At the timing of the G20 summit in 2022, we support also the renovation of Mangrove Information Center, especially the exhibition room and also training facilities for knowledge sharing and capacity building. So we support renovation of the exhibition room, like a diorama, and also the panels that introducing the characteristic of the mangrove and also ecosystem services and Indonesian efforts to conserve the mangroves. And also we support develop the training room and also conference room. Next slide, please. And the Indonesian government also developed the new facilities for mangrove rehabilitation and sustainable management next to the Mangrove Information Center, Takura area. So developed the former President Joko Widodo Mangrove Nursery Center. The nursery bed for the seedlings, the very huge facilities. It can produce 3.8 million seedlings per year. Yeah. And so also developed the tower and boardwalks in the Tahura areas. And this is a view from the tower. I think also these facilities and also MYC can be the center for the World Mangrove Center. And next, when we cooperating with a partner country, we aim at contribute to the contribution to achievement of policies on mangroves in the partner countries. And so following former President decree, so the Indonesian government developed a roadmap for mangrove rehabilitation by 2030. And so it's through the rehabilitation, the degraded areas and sustainably managed, and also it's targeting the 600,000 hectares by 2030. The first step is accelerate rehabilitation. So developing the PETA Mangrove National, so the Indonesian government identified 750,000 hectares and about 120 sites for the identified for the target area for the rehabilitation. And now the accelerating the mangrove rehabilitation. That's so supported by the World Bank M4CR project. And also next step, so establish the sustainable management. So I think another scheme is available, effective. So namely the social forestry business community development scheme conducted by DG Social Forestry. And so they have support the local communities, especially for mangrove, shiro fisheries, and also ecotourism, support the communities step up their business skills through the developing the implementation of business plan and also promoting the marketing. And so manage the sustainably the mangrove area rehabilitated through the engagement by stakeholders, including not only government, also the researchers, NGOs, also private sectors. And sorry, at last, so they can't achieve the mangrove net sink 2030 and contributing the achievement the target of the national determined commitment contribution. And so mangrove ecosystem bring multiple services, including the and contributing to climate change mitigation and adaptation and tsunami reduction and economic values. So if you're looking at the carbon storage, the mangroves storing much larger carbon than other terrestrial forests, especially the storing the 85 to 90% of the carbon below ground. And so also contributing the adaptation, the protecting the coastal lines from sea level rise and coastal abrasion throughout the soil accretion. And also reducing the tsunami height. This is also the result of the research after the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. The mangrove effectively reduced the tsunami height and energy rather than comparing without mangroves. And also the mangrove ecosystem provide fishery and tourism resources and contributing community livelihood. And so, next slide, please. Sorry, back to the, sorry. So, when we rehabilitate and also manage the mangrove, we have to ensure that these ecosystem services through us the monitoring and valuation of these ecosystem services or benefits. Next slide, please. So, considering the contribution to achievement Indonesian policies, as I already told, on the mangrove and climate change, so we have discussed, consulted with Indonesian government, especially Ministry of Forestry, Pak Tito. So we are happy to initiate, launch the new project the next April 2026. And so this project that are entitled the Project on Strengthening Capacity on Sustainable Management of Mangrove for Ecosystem-Based Adaptation to Climate Change. And this project composed of three outputs, and one is strengthening the Mangrove Information Center function through enhancing the capacity building and also enhancement SEPA activity, communication, education, and public awareness for the Indonesian stakeholders. And second, we developed the model of the rehabilitation and sustainable management through the developing the model for social forestry business community development scheme conducted by DG Social Forestry, and so especially focusing on the silver fishery and ecotourism, and rehabilitate mangrove as a model site. And we developed the guideline to promote the social forestry business to extend other communities, and also, as I told, evaluate, monitor the multiple ecosystem evidence, including carbon storage. And last, this is important for this session. We also support the functioning the WMS World Mangrove Center as global hub for promoting international capacity building and also sharing knowledge through the dialogue or such opportunities. So throughout these activities, we would like to support, contribute to achievement roadmap for the mangrove rehabilitation by 2030, and also achievement of the NGC 2030 target. And also globally, the support targeting achieve the target of the Paris Agreement, UNFCCC. The last slide. So, especially I would like to share with you, introduce capacity building for ASEAN member states as World Mangrove Center function. So I'm talking about output 3 in our project. As I told, the ASEAN mangrove networks developed the sustainable mangrove ecosystem management strategy and 17 guidelines to implement this strategy. In the last project supported by Japan ASEAN Integration Fund and ASEAN, and they using to implement contribute the ASEAN strategy and also implementing the guideline. We also collaborate with using the Mangrove Information Center, providing the training, capacity building opportunities, and also the knowledge sharing opportunities using the Mangrove Information Center, and also support the model extension of the shell fishery and ecotourism. I think that is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sakaguchi-san, for the presentation. And let's hope the cooperation, the partnership between Japan and Indonesia will continue because it does strengthening the Indonesian coastal area. We can see the proof from the picture that's shown earlier between 1992 to 2022. So 20 years, it does have a larger coverage of mangrove around the coastal area. Okay, you have two questions for me, Sakaguchi-san. The first one is, you did mention that JICA has a great success with the Bali Mangrove Information Center. Do you think it's possible to reach a balance between adopting a science-based conservation at the same time improving or ensure the welfare of the local community?
Thank you very much. Yeah. So we have the experience on mangrove rehabilitation and sustainable management, not only in Bali, also other areas, Indonesia and other countries. So let me responding the question without limiting to the case in Bali. And so main issue on the mangrove decline, so especially in Indonesia, was the conversion to the aquaculture pond, fish pond, shrimp pond for community livelihood. And so therefore, just only restoring mangrove isn't the sustainable solution. And so we have to consider how we manage mangroves in sustainable ways with economic incentive for communities. And so, as I talked in my presentation, we'll develop models for sustainable management, silver fishery, and ecotourism in our project. So, installing social forestry business communities, I told that done by the DG Social Forestry, in order to realize both sustainable mangrove management and community livelihood enhancement. And on the other hand, we have to show scientific evidence. The social forestry or the sustainable management scheme secures multiple ecosystem functions and service benefits, including biodiversity, carbon stock, and coastal protection, to ensure that we should monitor and evaluate in the indicators or the values on the such ecosystem services. Since such monitoring and evaluation cannot be done by communities themselves, so the stakeholder engagement, including government, churches, and NGOs and the private sector, is also essential to conduct the integrated ecosystem in a sustainable way. That's my question.
Thank you, Sakaguchi-san. So ecotourism to improve the welfare of the local community, but at the same time, you need monitoring from the government. You cannot rely on the community itself. Second question is, do you think it's possible for the World Mangrove Center to replicate its success at a larger scale and take it to another level? And if you think it's possible, how to achieve that?
Yeah, so for the World Mangrove Center, so as I told, so we so we support to the we supported the Mangrove Information Center established. After 30 years, the mangrove currently becomes the showcase on the mangrove rehabilitation now. And also already Indonesian government develops a huge nursery center there next to the Mangrove Information Center. I think so that we can't, also the Indonesian government has much experience for the mangrove rehabilitation and also management. Leading country among the world in the conducting initiatives on mangrove such a conservation. So considering such advantage, so I suggest I propose first step for the World Mangrove Center is capacity building on mangrove conservation and rehabilitation and sustainable management, and the practical and scientific knowledge sharing, and using mangrove information center and also surrounding facilities, including the Joko Widodo nursery centers. And so JICA will also support World Mangrove Center to function as a global hub on capacity building and knowledge sharing for the mangrove conservation and rehabilitation and sustainable management. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for promoting the World Mangrove Center on behalf of the Government of Indonesia. Sakaguchi-san, thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu. Last but not least, we have Pak Taswin. He is the Environmental Policy Specialist, I think. Let me check. Oh, actually, we have another speaker, but unfortunately, due to technical issue, she's unable to join with us. She's from World Bank. I think our team is still working on it, but I will probably move to Pak Taswin first. Again, he is from GGGI. He's the Environmental Policy Specialist, but he is also a lecturer. So he actually have a few slides of presentation to present, but due to one another, he's unable to show it to us. I don't know if this is a blessing or not, because if he's a lecturer, I think we perhaps have to sit in a long class around the sustainability or a mangrove management. But because he doesn't have it, I probably just ask you one or two questions, ya Pak. Okay, the first question perhaps in relation to, you're going to talk about from policy to action, right? And mobilizing resources and knowledge through this World Mangrove Center. So how can we ensure that the World Mangrove Center can truly move from just the paper, the policy, into the concrete action? That's one. And how the funds supposed to be utilized so the WMC, World Mangrove Center, is not just sit as the center for knowledge. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it also can create a direct impact on the ground for the community and for the public and for the world.
Thank you, Mbak Desmona. I'm Taswin. Good morning. Selamat pagi. Actually, I grew up in South Sulawesi among the mangrove forests, and the Buginis from South Sulawesi is very famous of converting mangrove ecosystem, especially in areas outside of their village, outside of the island, into fish ponds. JICA knows that since 1980s, especially when the shrimp price was so high, and then the other part of Indonesia, they don't know what to do with this spooky, cold, muddy, sticky environment, and comes the Buginis, and then they transport it into money, and then they say, oh, this is good, and they're starting converting most of the mangroves into fish ponds. So, World Mangrove Center is initiative. Among the others, there are also Mangrove Alliance, Mangrove Breakthrough, and others. As an ecosystem, mangrove doesn't stand alone. It should stay with the coral reef, with the seagrass, with salt marshes. 3 of the 4 are among the blue carbon ecosystem. And we cannot attack this severally. We should take it as an ecosystem approach. So as the Global Mangrove Center, it should not only connecting, not only knowing what others do, but they also should sharing their knowledge experience. And one more thing, do a collective actions, not a separate silo actions. Because most countries within the tropical area near the equator, including Brazil, including Belém, they have mangroves. And we cannot say that I do this. You don't know that. They do that. Everybody has done that. Everybody, especially focusing on community. We're talking about sustainable livelihood within the mangrove forest. The traditional community knows that better. We just need to encourage and trigger it and then facilitate. We cannot come there and teach. They have been living there. My father has a fish pond. My father-in-law has a fish pond. My relative has a fish pond. And we know it better in collectively live with it. But then people there, they don't know how to ensure that they're not breaking the ecosystem, breaking the chain, the food chain, the food network. So this is the roles of the government, especially the World Mangrove Centers, because without this knowledge sharing and then collective initiative, we see this ecosystem as separate, but we are connected. And then the funding mechanism similar to that. Now Indonesian government, they have 3.4 million hectares. We used to publicize 19 million hectares. It's not decreasing actually. It does decrease, but and then we recalculate. And then we found out it's not more than 10 million. We have 3.4, but it's still much. Among the world's mangrove, we are second or third. And then what should we do in terms of finance? First, the government should be there. The government should make it as a good alliance among ministries, among sectors, to see this as a mutual needs and then mutual goals. Set aside national funds, set aside subnational funds, and then see the existing initiatives, whether it is a project, whether it's a small grants, whether it is community initiatives, as one whole package. It cannot be silo. It should be attacked in that way. And then alternative funding apart from the national budget, alternative funding apart from what other donors has done, like GGGI. It was established in 2013 in Indonesia, in Korea, and then come Indonesia in 2013. But and then we only have this mangrove or blue carbon related projects in 2023, sorry. So it's only like 2 years ago, given by Canadian Aid or Global Affairs Canada, and then it might be over in 2, 3, 5, 4 years time, but and then the mangrove is still there. People around it still benefit from there, and the donors are still there. Let us connect and then see what's the alternative mechanisms, what are the mutual benefit, what is the collective actions that we could do together, including the finance, for sure.
Okay, thank you, Pak Taswin. So again, central government, subnational, until the regional government have to do the collective work together in terms of this financing the whole ecosystem of mangrove. Okay, we still have 10 minutes time. Mr. Lil, I hope you don't mind. I want to open the opportunity for the floor to raise any questions if they have. Please, 1, 2, okay. 3. Okay, I'll just collect 3 for now.
Thank you, Bu Desmona. Yang kau hormati Pak Wamen, para panelis. My name is Fajar. I'm from the Coordinating Ministry of Food Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. I'm really appreciating Pak Tito, the director, for convening the discussion, and we now are showcasing how Indonesia seriousness on conserving and also protecting our mangrove ecosystem. Only one simple comment and also some I think invitation to JICA, because we are now as a user of the Joko Widodo International Mangrove Research Center. And now we are starting the construction. Hopefully by the end of next year, the research center will be functioning. And then now the next homework is how to operational. We need for sure funding for research and also the capacity building. So we are very welcome if JICA will join us. We are also approaching some other colleagues, philanthropy, and I think all gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen who are attending this discussion. So once again, thank you Pak Tito for the showcasing our seriousness on protecting our mangrove ecosystem. Thank you, Bu Desmond.
Thank you, Pak Fajar. Okay.
Good morning. Wood Spencer from the small island of Antigua and Barbuda. I came in time to hear GGGI mention the power of the mangrove systems. In our small islands, that's what protects us, those mangrove systems. And you also mentioned local knowledge. That's also what's we have to return to. We have science, but if that science doesn't have the local knowledge, a lot of gaps gonna remain. And I see so many opportunities for linking all those systems across many conventions. We're a small island, we don't always get the funding, but when we link it, even Mercury, so many gaps can be filled. And I'm glad to be here today, glad to see my colleagues. Let's keep pushing those messages. The local knowledge is key in these processes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the affirmation that collective actions can manage the problem and fill in the gaps, right? Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, thank you so much to everyone. My name is Dr. Sheikh Hassan Kenyo Mari from Kenya, representing the Africa Faith Actors Network on Climate Justice. In Kenya, we have a very long beach along the coast. And people have never known the importance of mangrove. They have always cut the mangrove for firewood, construction. But for now, 10 years, we have been working across the churches and mosques to teach people about the issue of mangrove. So we'll be very happy, very keen to see how we can work together to make sure that we restore the mangrove forests in the entire Africa. So we thank you so much, and we are happy to be with you here. Of course, the Prophet Muhammad SAW, as we all understand, said that in the day of judgment, if you are planting a tree and you hear the trumpet, continue doing it. So we must advocate for this, and that's why I've come with this book also, Environment in the Light of Quran and Sunnah. This is the book which is used all over Africa in the mosque. Thank you so much. God bless you. And we are here together. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the invitation to collaborate and work together. We know that in Kenya, mangrove is for firewood and construction. In Indonesia, it converts into fish or a shrimp pond. Okay, last one.
Hi, I'm Thanapong Dumuni. I'm Jack from Mae Fah Luang Foundation. We are non-profit organization working in Thailand, improve livelihood of the people, reforestation at the same time. So I saw on your slide, you convert the fish pond or shrimp pond into like really beautiful mangrove forest within like 20 years. So I just want you, maybe it's possible to share with all of us that did you have any like you work with the people there? How did you convince people changing from what they work, like fish farming, shrimp farming, into the forest, give up their own land or something like that? Yeah.
ขอบคุณครับ for the question. Okay, anyone perhaps can answer how to convince the local people to convert, to let go the business of fish pond and restore it into mangrove? Matito, please.
Thank you for the very challenging questions from Thailand. So in Indonesia, I think we face similar situation like all other developing countries in the world. Yeah, when we talk about working with the community, of course we cannot go to the field, and then taking the seedling and then planting the trees. Like, we cannot do that. Yeah. First, we need to do some precondition program activities, like in Indonesia. We need to make sure that there is no rights of the local community that violent by our program. We need to make sure that that's why we conduct what we call as FPIC. Okay. And then the second thing, we are also requesting them, asking them what will be their future desired conditions. Do they need still needed the economic benefit from the ARL or only limited to the ecological benefit? But check. Hello? Yeah. So, but have harus dekat sini. So, we have principles that all economic activities can be done in the mangrove ecosystem, as long as the first one, economically feasible, the second one, socially accepted, and then the third one, ecologically sustainable. So when we talk about ecology, this is the top priority of any kind of economic activities that will be conducted at the field. And then also Indonesia, to combine all this economic, social, and ecological benefit, we do have what we call as silvofishery. Silvofishery is combining the mangrove restoration activities, combining with the aquaculture activities, but the green aquaculture activities, what we call as. So I will need like a 3-hour session again for the explaining about silvofishery, but again, after this session, you can also communicate, talk with us on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me add few words at the Ruth. My colleague has asked that question. You know, I mean, whatever the conservation, there should be an ownership should be given to the local communities who are depending on that. I mean, I am from the Ministry of Environment. I am external to the system. You see, we are preparing the policies and coordinating with our other stakeholders and all those things. I mean, our relationship is distant. But as very correctly mentioned by you, I mean, there should be guardians. The ownership should be given to the local communities because, I mean, mangroves are living ecosystems because it yields a lot of different benefits to the peripheral communities. So they should be strengthened. Their traditional knowledge systems and all practices should be, and their rituals and whatever. I mean, they were the dependents on those things, and they are the real valuing systems. So that's why we have that type of systems in our country. We have established the fisher federations and all, catalyzed them into their action, and we valued them. By that way, we want to share our experience with other countries also. That is the first thing. Thank you very much for bringing that point to the discussion. Yeah.
How you manage the resistance from the local community when it's when there is a resistance from them?
Resistance means. Yeah, no, we have to be strategic. So we have to recognize their real intentions, and we should develop different modules, innovative ways. So that is there. I mean, I don't think that the traditional knowledge and the local communities, I mean, they like them to be recognized and their conservation role. There may be some mismatch of our communication and all, but that is a challenge that we have to find out. I mean, solutions. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to add. GGGI has a NASCLIM project, nature-based solution for climate smart livelihood in the mangrove ecosystem. I mean, in Indonesia's case, most of the mangroves are converted into fish ponds. They don't want to obstruct, they don't want to cut off the mangrove for nothing, right? It's not like the development. They just want to have fish ponds. So what we did, I think government already issued a regulation. There's no more conversion to fish ponds, and idle fish ponds should be replanted or restored or can be changed into silvofisheries mechanisms. What we are doing under NASCLIM is nature-based. So we make use of the hydrology. Pak Tito has witnessed how the planting can stand side by side with the way we had Sri Lanka delegates on the 29th to 30th of August. They witnessed it, that not only planting, but also not to plant. How? They take off the hydrology, because mangroves, just like grasses, they're blown by the wind and then they can grow in other places. When you give ways to water, and then they go through, and then it's been proven with the idle fish ponds. They already have broken, waterways, and then they're just left like that for 1 to 2 years. The mangroves regrow in the same place. So it's science, but also it's traditional knowledge. Do not leave traditional knowledge and do not leave the community, because that's where they live from, I don't know, hundreds, thousand years before. And then we just come here to teach them something they've been living. We just facilitate their knowledge. We just give them ways that, look, we don't have to pay you to plan, and you don't have to plan. There's other alternative ways, nature-based. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. May I? Yeah. Okay. And also about the shrimp fishery, already Patito explained the shrimp fishery. That is the sustainable way to realize both the mangrove conservation and also the community livelihood. But still the shrimp fishery has also the challenges. How so shrimp fishery is good because the using the ecosystem services like the food for the shrimps or the ponds that are produced by the mangroves. And but still challenge to how we increase the productivity of the shrimps or the other products, and also how to promote the marketing. I think also in Japanese, some Japanese traders are buying such a shrimp fishery or the mangrove shrimps, and also adding the higher quality and also the pricing and sell that. And this also helps to the shrimp fishery economic values, and also the enhancing the livelihood of the community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to all speakers. Please put our hands together for all the speakers: Ministry of Forestry Indonesia, Ministry of Environment Sri Lanka, JICA, and also GGGI for sharing their knowledge. And we have to know that there is no one-size-fits solution for climate change, and it doesn't know boundaries. So we have to really take a leap in collaboration to really take care for this whole mangrove ecosystem. Thank you once again. And thank you all for joining this session. I hope you please stay put on your seat as we have another forum that's very, very exciting for you. Thank you very much. You all have a wonderful day. Thank you.